One of these cars rusted through before the owner finished paying for it. One was so badly built that Ford dealers had to fix them before they could sell them. And one nearly destroyed an entire American car company in a single model year. These are not obscure failures. These are cars that millions of Americans bought, drove, and regretted. And the stories behind each one are worse than you remember. Number 7, 1962 Plymouth Fury. Chrysler's 1962 downsizing decision is one of the most studied strategic failures in American automotive history. Based on market research that turned out to be wrong, Chrysler executives decided to build smaller, lighter, full-size cars at exactly the moment competitors were making theirs larger and more luxurious. The 1962 Fury arrived looking unfinished. Odd proportions, strange styling, nothing that traditional Plymouth buyers recognized as desirable. Sales collapsed immediately. The new unibody construction had structural weaknesses that produced rattles and water leaks from early in ownership. Rust developed faster than it had on previous models. Electrical problems and transmission failures added to the ownership experience. Chrysler lost massive market share and spent years recovering. The 1962 Plymouth Fury remains the clearest example of a manufacturer ignoring what its customers actually wanted and paying the full price for that decision. Number 6, 1965 Chevrolet Impala. This one surprises people. The 1965 Impala sold over 1 million units and became one of the most recognized American cars of its era. Consumer Reports April 1966 reliability survey rated it the most trouble-prone new car of the 1965 model year. That combination, enormous sales volume and genuine reliability problems, meant a significant number of American families discovered the issues firsthand. The redesigned body on the new perimeter frame produced electrical system failures, carburetor problems, and transmission issues with the Power Glide automatic. The 283, 327, and 396 cubic inch V8 engines had higher failure rates than the engines they replaced. Overheating, poor fuel economy, and maintenance costs that exceeded what owners had budgeted were common complaints. The 1965 Impala is remembered fondly today. The owners who lived through the first years of ownership remember it somewhat differently. Number 5, 1961 Dodge Polara. By 1961, every major American manufacturer had moved toward cleaner, more modern styling. Chrysler looked at that trend and doubled down on fins. The 1961 Polara featured reverse slant fins that appeared to be designed for a car traveling backward. Styling that looked dated on the day it arrived at dealerships. Bodies rusted rapidly, particularly around the complex fin structures that trapped moisture and accelerated corrosion. Electrical systems failed with the regularity that had become Chrysler's signature quality problem of the era. The dramatic body panels were expensive and difficult to repair when damaged, which they frequently were. These cars lost resale value faster than almost anything else on American roads, as buyers rejected styling that the rest of the industry had already moved past. The Polara represented Chrysler at its most stubborn, designing for an era that had already ended. Number 4, 1960 Mercury Monterey. The 1960 Mercury Monterey rode on a 126-inch wheelbase and weighed over 4,500 pounds, dimensions that created problems in every direction. Fuel economy was poor. Parking required patience. Tire and brake wear was accelerated by the excessive weight. The 312, 383, and 430 cubic inch V8 engines delivered power, but consumed fuel rapidly at a moment when operating costs were becoming a real consideration for American families. Build quality was inconsistent. Electrical issues, power steering leaks, and trim pieces falling off were common complaints. Production reached only 154,000 units across all Mercury models combined. After 1960, Mercury's identity as a distinct brand essentially ended, the nameplate becoming little more than an expensive Ford with different badges. The 1960 Monterey was the last year of Mercury as a car company that stood for something specific. What followed was decades of badge engineering. Number 3, 1960 Dodge Dart. The 1960 Dodge Dart created a marketplace confusion that took years to untangle. Marketed as a less expensive alternative, it rode on Plymouth's 118-inch wheelbase, making it shorter than Dodge's own larger models, while still being classified as full-size. Buyers trying to understand what they were actually purchasing found the lineup genuinely difficult to navigate. The base Seneca trim came with minimal equipment and the 225 cubic inch slant 6, adequate but unremarkable. Build quality reflected Chrysler's standard of the era. Rust attacked rocker panels, trunk floors, and suspension mounting points faster than owners expected. The tail fin styling looked dated almost immediately as the rest of the industry moved toward cleaner lines. Station wagon variants were particularly awkward in proportion. The Dart became Dodge's bestseller for 1960, not because it was good, but because buyers had limited alternatives within the lineup. Number 2, 1960 Ford Edsel. The Edsel's final year produced 2,846 units before Ford ended the program entirely. By 1960, Ford had removed the controversial vertical grille that had defined the car's identity, which meant the 1960 Edsel looked almost identical to the Ford Fairlane, eliminating any reason to pay the higher price. Ford lost over $250 million on the program, equivalent to more than $2.6 billion today. Build quality was so poor that dealers received cars requiring significant work before they could be shown to customers. Work the dealers performed at their own expense. The cars were assembled on existing Ford and Mercury lines with no Edsel-specific training and no focus on quality. The 2-speed Teletouch transmission, with its push-button controls mounted in the steering wheel hub, generated constant complaints. Production ended November 19, 1959, just 5 weeks after the 1960 models officially went on sale. The Edsel remains the most complete product failure in American automotive history. Number 1, 1961 Chrysler Newport. The 1961 Newport takes the top position because it combined everything wrong with Chrysler's early 1960s approach into a single car sold as the entry point to the Chrysler brand. The reverse slant fins, already rejected by buyers, on 1960 models appeared again on the 1961 Newport, as if Chrysler had learned nothing from the previous year's response. Competitors were offering clean, modern designs. Chrysler delivered fins that looked obsolete the moment the car arrived at dealerships. Electrical systems failed regularly throughout ownership. Bodies rusted at rates that shocked owners, particularly around the complex fin structures and in rocker panels where moisture collected and corrosion accelerated. Cars left the factory with misaligned panels, loose trim, and visible defects. The 361 and 383 cubic inch V8 engines were mechanically sound, one of the few things the Newport had working in its favor. Everything surrounding those engines was a problem. The Newport depreciated faster than almost any competitor, as buyers who had paid Chrysler prices discovered what Chrysler quality actually meant in 1961.